This is just in. We had an earthquake in Rome. The Italian capital was rocked by tremors, and they were felt all the way to Croatia and San Marino. It's by Clam Havwood in Express UK, and also we're going to look at what USGS has to say about this. We know that Italy the whole thing is on a subduction zone, and from one coast to the other is just about 100 miles. So that's a pretty tight space. Rome has been struck by an earthquake which was felt throughout the Italian capital around 10:45 in the evening today. Reports claim that the earthquake was measured at around 3.7 magnitude on the Richter scale. Meteorologist Marco MM wrote on Twitter, there has been a 3.7 magnitude earthquake near Rome. It was felt in the city and the Alban Hills zone. Witnesses in Rome took to social media to speak of their shock at the earthquake, which has been described as minor. One teacher said, "Thank God I was on the ground floor and didn't feel it too badly, though it gave me a fright. It's awful when you're on a higher floor." Apparently, it's actually 3.7. Still bad, not what you want right now before going to bed. The Richter scale suggests earthquakes of that size are often felt by people, but it says that they rarely cause damage, but the shaking of indoor objects can be noticeable. Independent scientific group EMSC said that around 3 million citizens will have felt the large tremors. The organization claims that it was widely felt in the eternal city of Rome, of course. The U.S. Geological Survey advises residents that the quake was also felt by locals in Croatia and nearby San Marino. They initially believed that it was of magnitude 4.1, and they downgraded, they kept it at a 3.7. Locals also said the service that they had seen, told the service that they had seen buildings shaking lightly. Some say it lasted for about 10 seconds. Now, what does the USGS say about this? 3.4 they have it at. At June 23rd, UTC time 8:43, that's 10:45 Italy time, and of course it's at a subduction zone. We know that we've had various smoking volcanoes of Italy. I posted a video about it just yesterday, and it's, as we said, in a subduction zone. They recently had very devastating earthquakes about 48 miles northeast in L'Aquila. Now, the tectonic summary of this: seismotectonics of the Mediterranean region and the vicinity. The Mediterranean seismically active due to the northward convergence, anywhere from 4 to 10 millimeters every year. And we see that as it goes east, it's even up to 20 millimeters a year, of the African plate with respect to the Eurasian plate along the complex plate boundary. And its convergence began approximately 50 million years ago, associated with the closure of the Tethys Sea. In other words, as the African plate is coming north, squashing into Europe, it's making the Mediterranean Sea a lot smaller that way. The modern day remnant of the Tethys Sea is the Mediterranean Sea. The highest rates of seismicity in the Mediterranean region found along the subduction zone of southern Greece, along with the North Anatolia fault zone of western Turkey and the Calabrian subduction zone of southern Italy. Local high rates of convergence at the Hellenic subduction zone of Greece is about 35 millimeters a year, so you can see that's about 4 times faster than what it is in Italy, are associated with the back arc spreading throughout Greece and western Turkey above the subduction Mediterranean oceanic crust. The crustal normal faulting throughout this region is a manifestation of extensional tectonics associated with the back arc spreading. The region of the Marmara Sea in western Turkey is a transition zone between this extensional regime to the west and the strike-slip regime of the North Anatolia fault zone. That's a really bad region that gives very big earthquakes. The North Anatolian fault accommodates much of the right lateral horizontal motion, that's 23 to 24 millimeters a year, between the Anatolian microplate and Eurasian plate, as the Anatolian microplate is being pushed westward to further accommodate closure of the Mediterranean basin caused by the collision of the African, the Arabian plates, and the southeastern Turkey. So subduction in the Mediterranean seafloor beneath the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Calabrian subduction zone causes significant zone of seismicity around Sicily and southern Italy. Active volcanoes located above intermediate depth earthquakes in the Cyclades of the Aegean Sea and of course in southern Italy. The Mediterranean region is where there is a written record several centuries long documenting pre-instrumental seismicity, that is pre-20th century earthquakes, have historically caused widespread damage across central and southern Greece and Cyprus, Sicily, Crete, the Nile Delta, northern Libya, the Atlas Mountains of North Africa, and the Iberian Peninsula of Spain. The 1903 magnitude 8.2 Kythera earthquake and the 1926 magnitude 7.8 Rhodes earthquake are the largest instrumentally recorded Mediterranean earthquakes, both of which are associated with subduction zones tectonics. Between 1939 and 1999, a series of devastating magnitude 7 plus strike-slip earthquakes propagated westward along the North Anatolian fault zone, beginning with the 1939 magnitude 7.8 Erzincan earthquake on the eastern end of the North Anatolian fault zone. The 1999 magnitude 7.6 Izmit quake, located in westward end of the fault, struck one of Turkey's most densely populated industrialized urban areas. Although seismicity rates are comparatively low along the northern margin of the African continent, large destructive earthquakes have been reported from Morocco in the western Mediterranean to the Dead Sea in the Mediterranean east. In 1980, magnitude 7.3 El Asnam earthquake was one of Africa's largest and most destructive earthquakes within the 20th century. Now, the large earthquakes throughout the Mediterranean region have also been known to produce significant damaging tsunamis. One of the more prominent historical earthquakes within the region is the Lisbon earthquake of November 1st, 1755, whose magnitude has been estimated from non-instrumental data to be about 8 magnitude. This 1755 Lisbon earthquake is thought to have occurred within or near the Azores-Gibraltar transform fault, which defines the boundary between Africa and Eurasian plates off the west coast of Morocco and Portugal. The earthquake is notable for both a large death toll and for generating a tsunami that swept up the Portuguese coast, inundating coastal villages and Lisbon. An earthquake of approximately 8 magnitude near Sicily in 1693 generated a large tsunami wave that destroyed numerous towns along Sicily's east coast. The magnitude 7.2 December 28, 1908 Messina earthquake is the deadliest documented European earthquake. The combination of several severe ground shaking, and the local tsunami caused an estimation of 60,000 to 120,000 fatalities. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.